Okay, it's video time. So, got a little small music acquisitional update. Sort of a personal update. Nothing major, nothing like drastic, I guess. And a little mini intro. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to timestamp this as best I can and kind of go from there. And I'm going to type this out so I don't screw up. Now, so I did a little bit of shopping there with my kiddo yesterday. And, she had some birthday money and she wanted to buy some stuff. I said, okay, cool. Mrs. was going for a massage, so I said, oh, I'll take the kiddo on a daddy-daughter date. Well, we haven't done that in a little while, so let's do it. So she went and did her, her thing, and bought a new toy, and we roamed around for a little bit, and then we had an ice cream. Or she had a sundae, and Daddy had a little blizzard from Dairy Queen. And I said, okay, so we did a little walk around, went down to see my mother, and, Nana got to have some hugs and snuggles with the kid for a minute, and then we come back up, and I went to Sunrise Records. Now, Sunrise was the big, as you guys have probably seen in one of my previous videos about record store issues. Basically, I went in there hoping to find some newer, like really sort of extreme, sort of aggressive metal, like, some newer bands, and nothing. Literally nothing, unless you were looking for Dio, for Sabbath re-releases, like the box sets, Metallica box sets, Megadeth, Iron Maiden. That's really all you were going to get. You get a couple other things here and there. But man, oh man, honestly, I think that store's a mess. They really, really, really need to snap out of it, and they need to be better, as it were. So, and of course, a few days ago, I received a package in the mail. And the package that I received in the mail was quite nice. Now, this was from a guy that reached out to me on Facebook. And real quick here. Essentially, he reached out and basically said to me, he's like, hey man, I just saw your review for the Boys in Votov, and I really like it. He goes, I think what you do is great. We need to have more guys like this that do this kind of thing. And there are a lot of YouTube channels that do reviews, but none of them focus on the underground bands that are floating around. And I mean, there's so many bands in this country alone, and they just, I feel they deserve and they need their time to shine. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick little review on this. And the guy behind this, Shane Hocko, he's a vocalist. And he sent me some stuff, and God bless his cotton socks. He sent me 2 cassettes. He also included in there, and what I'll do is I'll split them up and I'll kind of show each individual one here. But I'm going to do the review first and kind of go from there. So the first cassette that he sent me, and I'm going to kind of timestamp this of sorts, so we have it ready. There. Okay. So, the first one that he and he told me about 2 bands that he's in. It was quite a long discussion, quite a long, message, but I really appreciate it. And here's the thing, when I do this stuff, I don't expect anybody to send me anything. If you want to say, hey, if you can check this out, it'd be greatly appreciated. And then I have no problem with that. I absolutely have no problem with that. So the first band that I'm going to talk about is one of his bands called Third Chamber. Now, it's kind of hard, as you guys know, in the lighting with these computer screens. So this is the Third Chamber. pull out the cassette. Now, this is what I really, really, really liked. There's no song titles on this. It is literally the album cover. Well, I suppose the songs are on the backside. So this is an EP, and it's a very cool purple. Now this looks sort of blue, but it's kind of that bluish purple, like when you look at different sides of it. Harvesting, yes, harvesting our decay. Okay, so on this side you literally have the band logo, the name. This is kind of funny. It says that side, this side. So that side, this side. So on that side you have parasitic, communion, mind rot, and choke. And on this side, meaning this one here, we have harvesting our decay, terror formed. So it's a 5-song EP. Undeniably awesome. Now I'm just noticing this now. Don't crucify me, but I'm still going to give you some shit here. So, on drums, we have Dustin Hahn, and on vocals, as I say, we have Shane Hocko, Jamie McIsaac on guitar, Jay, no last name, magical, he's also on guitar, Russ Gauthier, he's on bass, and yeah. So that's that. Now, the good thing is that these little... It's kind of nice because you get the lyrics on here, and yes, it's quite fine print. But I really like how they have such a... This is really nice packaging. They have this all down to a science as far as I'm concerned. What else he sent me here? And I'm going to talk very briefly about the record. There's not a whole lot for me to hate on here, but there's also not much that I want to get too deep into in terms of... sort of discussion. So this here, of course, is a sticker of the cover, which is really, really sweet. And of course, he was kind enough to send me a code to download the record from Bandcamp. Now, basically, these guys are as our wonderful, lovely gent from the northern part of England, Mark G with a C, says, old school melodic death metal, I should say. Old school death metal. But this is more on the melodic side of things. Now, this is mixed and recorded by Garrett McElroy at Dead Echo Studios in Calgary, Alberta. And then, of course, it was mixed by Diego Fernandez at the Oracle Studios in Edmonton, Alberta. Now, that's kind of close to Darcy. So, Darcy, if you're watching this, if you get a chance, check these records out. You might like them. It's more along the extreme side of things. But if you're into that sort of stuff, hit it up. Very powerful, driving, crushing riffs, pronounced, and the vocals are very pronounced. You can even hear almost what Shane's saying in a lot of cases. Ear-shredding vocals. Drum-wise, it's your typical sort of... It's kind of hard to really talk too much about old school, mellow death sort of drumming, because it's not that it's all the same. Once you've heard it once, you've heard a good chunk of it, even if you've never heard of that band before. So for a debut EP, God, I can't even talk today. This is quite well recorded, mixed, mastered. I don't have any complaints on it. There is one complaint, but I'll get to that after. The next cassette. This is for Shane's other band, Culled. Really sort of cool, sort of a get-up. And it's hard to see because it's quite, the whole lighting and stuff. Now, Shane is the vocalist, but he does the logo and the artwork. So, their other record that they have out is called You Suffer But Why, which is a play on, the You Suffer song from Napalm Death. This is called Thin the Herd, Fail to Learn. That's what this is called. This is also a short little EP. Divide to Conquer, Such Benevolent Filth, False Sense of Supremacy, Scorn, and Contagion. Now, the fun thing about this is, and I almost forgot, I'm going to really quickly go back to Third Chamber. I forgot to point this out. Down at the bottom, if you can see, 19 to 49. So this cassette is the 19th out of the 49 that they made. And this one here is 23 out of 40. And what I like about this is that this has kind of got this sort of cool silver sort of setup on it. This is literally just got sort of like part of the cover on it. It just basically says "Thin the Herd, Fail to Learn." No real sort of fanciness, and if you look at the taping, it's quite red, and it's kind of nice. I kind of dig that. Now, looking at this here, of course, on this part here, this is where they actually talk. This is where they talk about who's in the band. Brian Newberry, and I'm actually just finding out about this now. Brian and I've talked to Brian numerous times on Instagram and as well on Facebook. He's fantastic drummer. Holy shit. We also have Drew Copeland on bass, and Drew actually did a good chunk of the recording and producing. And we're going to go to Shane Hocko, as we know, on vocals, and Ben. Looks like Ben Harbour on the guitars. Ben, don't shoot me, pal. I do apologize. But other than that, what I do have, what these guys are, these are what they dub themselves as encrusted grindcore, crushed sludge doom riffs molded together that gives you cult. Of course, as I said, Shane Hocko on the vocals. When it comes to the drum-wise, the riffs and the vocals, everything that I'm looking for in terms of, like, sludge, doom, but several songs that add the speed of grindcore, I'm getting everything I asked for. And now the fact that Mr. Newberry's on drums, that gives me a whole other appreciation for this band, just because I know what that guy is capable of playing. As I said, this was recorded and produced by Drew Copeland. Additional engineering by Justin Bender at Divergent Sound. And mastered by Scott Miller at Ancient Temple Recordings. And that notion is 100% very evident here. What Scott does to get sounds is fucking phenomenal. I cannot wait to hear New Antithesis. It's going to blow my fucking brains apart. I can just tell. Just because I know how those guys work. Also, with the cassette, I also received another download card for Culled, which I will be doing that this week, and a very, very cool patch. This is actually a quite beefy patch. You know, like if I was to hold it up here, like that's a pretty decent sized patch. And I mean, you know, and as I said, I don't need all this. Like none of this is. You don't need to send me this stuff. I don't do these sort of things for, clicks or likes or whatever. I don't do this for free shit. Because I told him, I said, buddy, if you want me to pay you for it, I don't have a problem paying you for it. But if he said if you say no, I'm gonna send it to you. Okay, great. Here's my address. That's just sort of added bonus, especially on top of records or EPs that are absolutely fantastic. These are absolutely fantastic. But boys, can you fucking go on your Facebook pages and your Bandcamps and update fucking first and last names for Christ's sake? Yes, Murphy. And I guess in full-blown fairness to my stupidity, I could have easily just done this, as I did, and it's like, oh look, here's the names, blah. But I'm not used to. I usually don't do that until I've gone through and I've looked at it. In all honesty, what I did was I took the time to listen to it. I wasn't really concerned about it because I usually, when I do a review, I usually go right to the band's Bandcamp or the band's Facebook page and get some of the info there. Because Facebook's literally right there for me to pinch stuff from. Just Give me the names, boys. Just update your pages. That's my only gripe. Other than that, what I've heard is fantastic. And yet again, people are going to sit there and be like, well, how could you, it doesn't make sense. All you're doing is kissing their ass. I'm not kissing anybody's ass. If you're putting out quality shit, fucking great. Now, in terms of third chamber, I might be slightly a little bit more beef, bring the vocals more to the forefront. Like that. But that's not a major problem. That's not a major issue. I can hear Shane well. I can hear what he's saying. I just kind of like to have the vocal just slightly before the guitars and stuff. Just enough. Other than that, everything that I get when I listen to this is exactly what, like, everything they're describing, I'm getting. And that's exactly what I want. And whether I've been listening to, Slayer or AC/DC or, whoever that week, I tend to separate myself completely and go, okay, this is a brand new band. I've never heard them before. What am I in for? And I got exactly what I was expecting. So now, going back to where the opening part of things was, we have essentially the update and my purchases, because I did eventually go over to Second Spin and I bought a couple cassettes, and this is what I bought. So I've been in the process of wanting to get this on. I've seen this a few times on Facebook Marketplace. I'm like, do I really want it? Well, I basically got this for pretty well a friggin' steal. Okay, I paid $4 Canadian for it. So, and I also bought this here too, about $7. But I haven't seen this really on cassette in a while. But before I do that, just gonna touch quickly here. The thing about this is that there wasn't a whole lot. Like, you actually have to put a little extra strength into opening this up a little bit more, which is kind of nice because the simple fact that this is in such a good condition, and even the case itself is in pretty good. I mean, yeah, it's just a little bit scratched up, but that's nothing. Like, that's literally nothing. And the tape itself, pretty top notch, pretty good. Echo Records, of course, side 2, and then you got side 1. I just watched Metal Mickey's second part of his spotlight on AC/DC. And I'm eventually going to do a side thing on that too. But that'll be after. So that's AC/DC's Razor's Edge. And then this one here, the Ozzy Osbourne Randy Rhoads tribute. 2 record set on 1 cassette. And of course all the songs there. Chromium Dioxide. Nothing here, just your typical spine there. Nothing on the back that says about the chromium oxide. So, take the tape out. Tape's in rather good, pretty good condition. There's a little bit of wear right up here. Not much. Like a little bit there. Probably some guy just loved this and, and on the back there's a little bit here. Just a little bit over there. $7 Canadian. Like, you can't beat that. Now, this is what I really like. The cassette, the case itself is in great condition. But this here, when I open up this here, and I've never actually had this in my hand, there's a little bit of creasing, but not a whole lot. But you get all the pictures, Randy and his mom, the tribute and stuff, little write-up about him. Dear Randy fans from his mom Dolores, and of course Ozzy did his little dedication. But this is in great friggin' shape. Like, wow. And I won't say this is near mint, because it's not near mint. I mean, it is in very good condition. And I find a lot of my cassettes lately have been showing up like this. So I really appreciate that. And I always take it out and kind of view it before I buy it, because I don't just want to buy it just to have it. Because, I mean, I can buy it to have it, but I want to have a good copy. If one is slightly war, hey, whatever, I can kind of live with it. Okay, so now that that's sort of all out of the way, we are finally able to go, and I don't like talking about this sort of thing, but, you know, the thing about this is that we're going into our yellow phase of recovery, which, frankly, as far as I'm concerned, is an absolute nightmare with this whole thing that's been going on. But this week, I'm hoping that me and the boys can get together for a jam. This has been a long time coming, and so I'm going to be putting a lot more effort into that. I've got a lot of lyrics written. I'm going to be, tapping into some of that, here and there. But the good thing is that now that, we're able to, and we've been able to kind of do quite a lot in terms of, like going out and doing this and doing that. Like, I know some of the guys over in, in the vinyl community, like, they've been on a lockdown for quite some time. And it's kind of frustrating. But I was in our shopping mall there this weekend, and it was quite busy. But, not to kind of derail from that, but essentially, we're going to be doing, some stuff. We're going to be getting some songs written and stuff. Going to get some jams going, and hopefully before too long, I'll be able to get some other records and so on. And I do know that I've got another package coming from England, like up in the north, from a friend of mine. He's sending one out tomorrow. I've also got another package coming from the States, a vinyl package, and I'll touch on a video with that once it gets here. So anyways, guys, once we get the chance to jam, maybe what I'll do is I'll post some stuff up on here, but I might not, because I might just wait and do like a YouTube channel for the band and just kind of go from there. If you stuck with me for this video this long, thank you so very much for watching. I really appreciate it, everybody that watches my videos. You guys know this. From the contest enterings, from the ramblings about what I've picked up, some of the odd chit-chats about some things. It's been good. And I really appreciate those of you who have been able to sit there and stick around and watch these things. Because some of them are lengthy, and, I do tend to ramble a bit, and I'm sure you guys know this. But as I say, guys, thank you so very much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, if you're one of the 50% of the people who watch my videos and don't subscribe, guys, it takes nothing. It doesn't cost you. Click that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. It just helps me, helps my channel to grow, and we're getting there. It's not crazy, but I've got more subs than I thought I would have from revisiting this sort of thing. But anyways, thanks again so much. You guys are killer. I love when you guys watch this. I love the comments. I love when people message me on Facebook and stuff. It's just great. You guys are cool. Love yous. Yeah, fat finger syndrome.